Welcome back to the morning show.
All right, welcome back. We're continuing our conversation with Dr. Michele Borba about getting our kids back into school, getting them Thrivers. First of all, let's talk about your book Thrivers before we get into the next couple of questions, because this is so timely.
Yeah.
But did you write this before the pandemic?
I was writing it. Unfortunately, I was writing it before the pandemic, and I was seeing a crisis that 1 in 5 American kids was already diagnosed with stress and anxiety, and then came the pandemic. And what we've done is put all our emphasis on that GPA, or how you doing on that soccer field, and we've forgotten, here's the coping skills that you need the rest of your life, and that's what Thrivers does. Just dozens of skills. Don't do them all, or your kid will never let you read another book. But find 1 or 2 and then work on it as a family until your kid has that skill or that skill. It's all the science backed of here's what kids need and what adults need to be resilient and bounce back.
I love that. I love that topic, especially because it's just so timely, and it's just so funny because I have a toddler, right? And so when the baby years, or the year was just months ago, really, for us. And for us, it was like getting her to self-soothe. This is just an extension of self-soothing.
Exactly what it is. That's exactly our whole. Oh my gosh, I love what you just said, because our whole life is to help our kids learn how to cope with life without us. And we start when they're little ones, when they finally learn how to soothe themselves. But we forget to do that when they're 16, 17, and 18. What are you going to do? Because you can't be there. And really, the whole goal of a thriver, a kid who's got resilience, is a child who says, I got it. Not mom's going to do it for me. But it's what are the skills that your child needs? You may have more than one kid in your family, and every kid's going to be a little different. So choose one of the skills and keep working on it. Because,
tailored for each kid, a little different. Okay, so we're going to get back to some questions, common questions about getting our kids back into the school. So the third one we have is, my child has really withdrawn this past year. She used to love school, but now she's just not the same. So what can I do?
Well, the first thing is, my concern of the question is, she's not the same. Nobody knows your child better than you. And if you're seeing a real pronounced difference in your child, I always use what's called the TOO index, T-O-O or T-W-O. If it's too severe and it lasts too long, it spills over into too many different areas. You're seeing your child is just not their normal. And every kid is not their normal right now, but they bounce back, and that's the resilient child. If you're seeing it, that's when you say, I got to get some help. Please get some help. There's incredible resources in this valley, and you need to. When your child goes back to school, are you seeing the changes continuing, or are they a little sparkier because they're going to school? One of the things you also want to do is, what's triggering it? Is there one thing that's been missing in their lives? Of course, all of us have a big piece that's missing, but what is it? That one little thing that maybe is curtailing your child from being the resilient kid. Find that counselor at that school. Find the school psychologist at the school. Get some help and start. Because if you continue to see it after school's open and the child continues to regress or is no back the same as they were before, you'll usually see a change in sleep patterns. You may see a change in behavior patterns. They're more irritable, or they're the opposite. They're more clingy. But it lasts. It isn't just with you. Are you seeing it that other people are saying the same thing? Something's going on with your kid. They're just not the same. Those are real big red flags. And the biggest thing, Sarah, that I hear from parents that's the most deadly is, if only. If only I'd gotten the help. Please watch out. We're seeing from the CDC a real warning that the next wave of this pandemic will not be another COVID. It will be a youth mental health crisis, and we've got to get prepared for it, because all the red flags are warning us this is exactly what's happening.
Okay, last one. My son gets very upset because my son either doesn't take COVID seriously or he does take it. I brought her too, so it's a double whammy. But my family does. So mom and dad take COVID seriously, grandma and grandpa do, but my son feels uncool. So how do we get him on board if he feels uncool around his friends, whether, because the family takes it seriously. Really, we're a unit, right? The family unit.
The family unit, and here's the thing that we got to keep in mind. As kids get older, peer pressure is huge. And the biggest thing you want to do is fit in. So here's some angles you can do, and you can use these same strategies. I don't care if it's COVID or anything else. Figure out what you stand for, and don't deviate from it. Give him a strong why. So he clearly understands, why should I be bothering to wear a mask? And a big thing that you want to do is that, hey, you know what? It's not just protecting you. You're protecting our family. Your child will probably say, you're the only one, Mom. Nobody else is like that. And you're not. So what you do is you start doing what we're not doing nearly enough, connecting with some of his friends' parents. You're looking for, do they have the same value structure? That alone is going to be a really interesting call. Who's your kid hanging around with? But if they're so different, then that alone could be a red flag. But also is you just simply picking up the phone and goes, hi, I know that our kids are hanging around each other. I just want to introduce myself and let me know who you are, and then have a little informal conversation. Chances are the other parent is on board with you. And that's a wonderful thing to be able to say, hey, you know what? She's feeling the same way.
All right. So there's a lot to unpack there with our poor children. You know, heading back, a lot of them are just really struggling. So check out Dr. Borba's book. It's called Thrivers right now. And it's amazing, with a bunch of ways that you can make your kids resilient. That's all it's about resiliency. And it couldn't come at a better time for our parents. All right. So thank you.
You're so welcome. Thank you.
We'll be right back.